And this is the Hunter Tell Me When profile for patch 7.0. A lot of work went into this one, and just like the Warlock and Rogue, it will cover all three specs for the class, and we're going to start off here with Beast Mastery. And Beast Mastery, the only real thing to really watch for here is your focus. You need to make sure you have enough focus so that you can cast the spells when they need to be cast on cooldown, or as close to on cooldown as possible. And this will take into account a lot of other cooldowns as they're coming off, and just try to keep you in around that 50% mark of focus as much as possible, so you can always have enough to spend when you need to. Outside that, this is actually not a very difficult spec to play. There's not a lot of filler spells except for Cobra Shot, so yeah, you should be able to hop right into this one, and it will also change the rotation based on the talent choices you make. As you can see, there's a few extra spells that didn't show up there because of the talents we chose, but it will change dynamically, and make sure you keep those spells in the rotation at the appropriate times. Now, hopping into Marksmen, you can see that the rotation is considerably longer, and that's because there's a lot more things you can do to change the rotation by adding more spells, taking away spells, changing the times of debuffs and the like. The most ideal way to play right now is using a short vulnerable buff by using the forget the talent's name, but it makes it so your vulnerable buff goes from 30 seconds to 6 seconds, but 150% boost to the damage. And that alone made this very tricky to program for when you don't have that. So what you'll find is that it will still work under all conditions, and you'll see that it will tell you when to use cooldowns and highlight spells as certain buffs and other active debuffs are available, and you should get the most out of this spec just by following what's in the center. One thing I did remove at the last second was I did have it initially tell you to use a Sign Wider to regenerate some focus if you had nothing else to cast. I decided to take that out last minute and leave it to a judgment call for you. If you notice you have a Sidewinder proc available, or you just have a basic cast and you need focus, feel free to use it. Otherwise, you can just save it and wait for that Hunter's Mark proc. And finally, in Survival, this one is another fairly simple spec. Not too much changes. If you took the Magnethal talent in the top right, it will put Raptor Strike at the top of the priority to maintain that buff for the extra attack power. Otherwise, it'll work just normal. The Mongoose Bite is really the only thing that you need to pay attention for in this spec, and it is set up currently that it will attempt to store as many Mongoose Bites as it can when there's about 20 seconds left on Aspect of the Eagle. Otherwise, you'll see when you get to about 2 stacks, it will have you start pumping them out in between just to get a bit of extra damage. From personal testing, storing up to 2 stacks was usually the best, and only using 1 additional stack, as you saw there at the end, to attempt to try and get that last bit of damage from the buff as it's up. Now, the rest of the talents and abilities will change and add new things into the rotation as you take new talents, and all the icons there are set up to display whatever information you need, whether it's a talent information, a buff information, or anything else depending on what's going on. But yeah, you should be set and good to go. But yeah, I hope this is what you guys were looking for, and I will catch you guys next time.